Facebook. This is Dr. Brett Spradlin, and we are at Divine Design Natural Health, and we have a rowdy crowd here. Goodness gracious. And they're getting loud and out of control. Somebody call the police. No, I'm just kidding. We're just getting started. We are at January 14th. This is food, truth. What do I eat? And before we get into that, we're just going to read some testimonials just from the last couple of weeks, just so you all know what you're getting yourselves into here. For the past 6 years, I've had issues with my left side, shoulder, hip, and knee. Couldn't lay in bed on my left side. I could only sleep on my right side. That was 6 years. I'm skipping ahead here. The other day I laid down on my left side, fell asleep. Before this, I could only handle 5 minutes at a time. To some people, that might be a very small thing, but 6 years laying on one side of your body, that can get old in a heartbeat. Let's see. I joined my daughter in changing. So basically, when we take these testimonials, we just ask people, how were you before? How are you now? So I'll read to you the before and then the after. I joined my daughter in changing my diet by going through purification. The purification is just a 21-day. We change up how you eat. It's not a diet. It's just a lifestyle change that's continued over time. So I joined my daughter in changing my diet by going through the purification, and I'm eating almost all veggies and protein now. She's not even a patient. This is the patient's mom. I've lost 16 pounds so far just from changing my diet. I feel much better. No more energy lulls in the afternoon, and tons more energy. Now that I know how much better it makes me feel, I'm motivated to continue with this lifestyle change and continue to cut out sugar, carbs, and processed foods. Oops, she gave up the secret. What does she cut out? Sugar. Now, the question is, what exactly is sugar, carbs, and processed foods? And darling, you got a guilty look on your face. You're saying sugar and carbs. She's going to be a tough sell. Oh, geez. She's already rolling her eyes at me. Goodness gracious. Another one. I went to the eye doctor and my eyesight has improved. Not a big deal to some people, but if you got eye problems, big deal. Now, why would something that we do change people's eyesight? I'm here to tell you something that you haven't believed, but you've heard your entire lives. You are what you eat. So if you eat cheap and fast, you're going to be cheap. No. You're going to be sick, right? Okay. Sunday morning, this was December 23rd. Woke up with no back pain. I've had back pain every morning since March 2018. And this was 2 days before Christmas. This truly is a miracle. Praise God. Thank you, Jesus, and divine design. I take no credit for that. Your body can heal through anything, whether it's a shark bite, whether it's a bullet wound, whether it's a paper cut. The problem is that we're too busy trying to kill ourselves slowly. That's really what it is. She had long-time asthma issues. 1 week of supplements, almost no symptoms of asthma. How many of you think that's a big deal? 1 week?
My grandson. That's why I'm here. Asthma.
Your grandson?
Yeah.
Asthma. What's the answer for asthma outside of these doors? Standard. Inhalers. Steroids, corticosteroids, inhalable corticosteroids. That's the answer. For how long?
Rest of your life.
Correct. Let's see. My wife is a patient here, and she is on the nutritional response program taking the supplements. She suggested I take some supplements. I am bald, and my hair is growing back. My energy level and endurance has increased. It works. Once again, he's not even a patient. I thought I told you to find testimonials of patients. No, I'm just kidding. Cairo, here's somebody that came in after her first chiropractic adjustment. I could not turn my head when driving. How many of you think that's a big deal? Right? When we say our motto is saving lives ahead of time, we mean it. And it's not just from avoiding auto accidents. We're actually preventing much more serious stuff that people have absolutely no idea. First visit, I could turn my head around, and my blood flow was so much better I could feel it. That's it. There's just some of the highlights. We've literally got dozens and dozens of these coming in every week. That's how we got those folders on the walls, thousands of these. So just moving on forward. One thing, too, I want to mention, how do we do all this? Word of mouth. You don't advertise. You didn't see a sign on the building. It's all word of mouth. That's getting ready to change very shortly. We've been doing this about 4 or 5 years. This was not our first building. We're taking over this town. Here's the deal. It's all word of mouth right now, but we're linking up with a marketing agency to take this thing. We're going global at some point. Just give me a few years. Give me some time, okay? But one of the big things that we do is we do grassroots word of mouth. We spend our money on getting people better, not on cramming your mailbox full of junk mail, okay? So what we do right here, this is a Vitamix Who Do You Care About giveaway. So when you refer someone to us, they come in, they become a new patient. You get a ticket that goes in here. Let's just say that you love what happens so much here that you refer a second person. For that second person, you get 2 more tickets, and they go in here. So by the time you get to 5 or 6 people, you've got about a dozen ways of winning. Does that make sense? We've given away, what, 3 of these? 2 of these? Sarah would know. 2, at least 2. And people love these things. We're going to talk more about this. I won't go into what this is, but we'll talk more about that during the Nutritional Upgrades class 2.0, which I think is in a month, okay? So this should be in your folders. That explains how that works. So it's all word of mouth. How many of you know when people like the service and the products and the care that they receive, they tell other people? Every one of you is here, unless you called because you found us on Google or Facebook and you said, hey, I want to schedule an appointment. Unless you called and we said we only take word of mouth, friend and family referrals. We take referrals from people that we know. If you called from Google or Facebook, we told you you have to come to this class. How many of you was that the case? One in the back. So everybody else was referred by somebody that you knew, that you worked with, went to church with, went to school with, that somebody that you knew got great results by coming through these doors. That's how we build this thing. That's why we have 40 people in this room. That's how we do this. So that is just some housekeeping and quickly diving into the presentation. What do I eat? Ready? Everybody? We just had to do some quick housekeeping. We had to get that out of the way. Any questions before I get started? We're good? Fabulous. I'm coming after you. You and your carbs. I'm coming after you. So basically anything can cause anything. Okay? And I use this a lot when I teach classes because it makes sense. Nutritional deficiencies on the left, I abbreviate a lot because I don't have time to write a lot of stuff. I want to focus on you guys. So you can put any disease right up here, okay? Any disease. You can put cancer, you can put back pain, you can put fibromyalgia, you can put irritable bowel, whatever. And you will have some kind of nutritional deficiency and or some kind of organ dysfunction playing into that problem, playing into that disease. It doesn't matter what the disease is. This is a very simple, this will save you 13 years of secondary education. It will save you a couple $100,000. This right here is the simplest thing that will explain most, if not every disease, with the exception of trauma, which is accidents, okay? Put the disease up here. Like tonight, since we're talking about nutrition, we're talking about food, you could put, first one off the top of my head, okay? Obesity. Weight loss. How many of you know that childhood obesity is one of the biggest problems in the United States right now? Why is that? When did they first start getting obese? Well, around about 30, 40 years ago. That's when it all started, right? There's a timeline that we're going to fit all this into. So you have to know, anything can cause anything, okay? You can never say, well, no, that would never cause that. Anything can cause anything. Just know that. In other words, you could be sick from the type of clothes you're wearing. They could be cutting off your circulation. It could be plastic fibers that is messing up your circulation. It could be anything. How many of you know cell phones give off radiation? They're starting to let you know that, but we've known that for decades. We've known that for a long time. Cell phones now, with the radiation, is what they used to say about well, there's no problem with smoking, or there's no problem with drinking alcohol. Now they're finally starting to come out and go, you know what? This 5G thing, it's cooking people. It's tearing people up. Y'all know this, right? That's why they have radiation detectors on the guys that work in the rad labs taking X-rays. You know, that's why they're measuring the radiation of people to make sure it's at a safe dose. But if they're making sure it's at a safe dose, what does that tell you it could eventually be? An unsafe dose, right? So we're using all this technology. Anything can cause anything, okay? You have to know that. Now, that sugar quiz, how many of you filled that out? If you didn't, no big deal, because we're gonna push through this. If you become a patient here, this will be your best friend. This will be one of your best friends. And we made it lime green on the paper just so that you won't lose it. This looks really good on your fridge, okay? So if we said obesity is caused by nutritional deficiencies and organ dysfunction, what would be the nutritional deficiency? The fact that you're not getting enough vitamins and minerals, so you're always looking for food and you're always binging and you're getting up and eating at 3 o'clock in the morning because you don't have proper nutrients in your system, so your body's constantly waking you up to go eat food. Nutritional deficiency. What's the organ dysfunction? I don't know, fatty liver, bad heart, fat cells. You could break it down on the cellular level. This sugar quiz right here, if you, let's see, if you answered false to more than 4, chances are you're probably sugar sensitive. You're probably allergic to sugar and addicted to it, the same way an alcoholic can be addicted to alcohol. You crave sugar. So if you answered false to 4 statements or fewer, it doesn't mean you don't have a problem with sugar. You may not be addicted to it, but perhaps you don't quite realize just how much sugar you're eating. So you want to, thank you, you want to take a look at that and just go, okay, sugar might be a problem. Sugar is the most dangerous substance on the planet. I teach an entire class on that. I teach an entire class on a lot of stuff you'll want to stay tuned on because we're up in the ante in 2019. Now, flip this over. 146 reasons why sugar is destroying your health. Kidney stones, number 86. Sugar can be intoxicating, similar to alcohol, 101. Sugar can exacerbate PMS. You know how much Midol they sell by you not knowing that? How about, I saw 5 women's heads come up just on that. Sugar can exacerbate my PMS? Why has nobody ever told me that, right? Yeah, one of these days I'll tell you something about your tampons that'll blow your mind, but we're not going to discuss that on Facebook right now. Sugar can cause toxemia during pregnancy. That's good to know. I wonder why all the kids are sick. Number 28, sugar can cause gallstones. 29, sugar can cause heart disease. 30, appendicitis. 31, multiple sclerosis. 32, hemorrhoids. 33, varicose veins. Get the picture? So obesity is not a stretch here. Anything can cause anything. So can sugar cause cancer? Can sugar cause heart disease? Can sugar cause, yeah, absolutely. You're just not being told that. So you have to admit that your current health is a reflection of your past habits. That doesn't mean you're a bad person. That just means you woke up. That just means we're going to help you. That just means once you admit, okay, I screwed up, I didn't know, I was bamboozled, I was hoodwinked, I didn't have the right information, now you can do something. But if you just keep going along thinking that you've got it figured out and that, well, hey, I'm just going to keep beating my head into the wall and just seeing if the wall falls down. You know what that's called? Traditional American healthcare. That's what that's called. And I'm not throwing anybody under the bus. I've got people in my family who are in the medical profession. But here's the problem. You are doing the same thing over and over and over and over and expecting different results. That is the definition of what? Correct. You all know that. So when we do biopsies and CAT scans and colonoscopies and mammograms and drugs and more drugs, and yet nobody's ever talking about one thing. Why are they feeding the diabetics cake? Why are they feeding the cancer patients macaroni and cheese and ice cream? Nobody's talking about the food, are they? Talking about the drugs. Turn on TV for 35 seconds and you'll hear plenty about the drugs, right? So you have to admit that our current health is a reflection of past problems that we did not confront and that we did not change. I know people in this room are probably in healthcare. Most of the people I treat in this practice are in healthcare. They're nurses. They're respiratory therapists. They're dentists, they're doctors, they're other doctors, they're other people in healthcare. Why do they come here? Because they know that we know what's up. So admit that that you need help. So the big thing here that I want you to get is, how is it affecting you? It's affecting yourself or else you wouldn't be here. Your friend wouldn't have told you to come. It's affecting your family. It's affecting your work. It's affecting your social life. Some people can't go outside. Do you think the guy that said he'd had back pain every day from March until 2 days before Christmas, you think he went out very much? You think he picked up his grandkids very much? This affects every aspect, okay? So you have to ask yourself, is it going to get better or is it going to get worse? If I don't confront it and do something about it, is it going to get better or is it going to get worse? It's probably going to get worse. Do I need to change? Yes. How committed am I? On a scale of 1 to 10, if you're at a 9 or a 10, we're ready to talk. If you're at a 1 or 2 or 3, come back in a few months when it gets worse. Because you already said it's not going to get better if you don't change something. Right? Can you change up your diet? Yeah. Can you do it alone? Sometimes. What happens when you outsource it to somebody who knows and does this for a living? What happens when you outsource it to people who, everybody who works here started as a patient? What happens when you have that power working in your corner? What happens when you have years of clinical experience and some of the top doctors in the country in my back pocket that I travel with and go around and learn and teach with? That's where we're at. So just real quick, I wanted to cover this right here before we launch into the fact that in 1960s, Americans spent about 20% of their income on food and 5% on health care. Now, today, 50 years later, these numbers are completely reversed. It's 20% on food, and it's 20% on healthcare, 5% on food. It's getting cheaper to eat crappier and crappier and crappier, and it's getting more expensive and more expensive and more expensive to handle the damage from eating crappier and crappier and crappier. Couple stats. I won't blow you away with stats. We got a lot to cover, but I will say this. More than half of all Americans die of heart disease or cancer. Erase this, put heart disease or cancer. Another couple of diseases, heart disease or cancer, right? Half of Americans are dying of 2 diseases. What is in the front lobby of every hospital? What's on the ground floor of every hospital? Vending machines and a cracked Donald's with the golden arches. Meow, 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 meow. That's how they got on the 5th floor for the bypass. They ate the Happy Meals on the 1st floor for 40 years. Do you follow me? Is that right or is that right? Everybody knows that. So 25% of children take daily prescriptions for chronic illness. 25%. And these stats are probably a couple years old. 25% of children are taking daily prescriptions for chronic illness. Chronic illness like asthma and allergies and obesity, right? 95% of healthcare dollars are spent on treatment. 5% is spent on prevention. We do not have a healthcare crisis in this country. We have a disease management crisis. It's not healthcare. It's not. Do not be deceived. Do not be deceived. The premiums and deductibles and the copays, it's a smokescreen to get you in on paying for something that is only going to give you drugs and surgery. I'm not going to tell you what to do with that, whether to do it or not, but that's something that here you can rest assured that you're going to be putting money towards an investment in your health, not just a premium in insurance company's portfolio, right? 95% goes to treatment, 5% on prevention. That's crazy, unbelievable. We eat cheap, we get sick. Then we spend a fortune on trying to get better with incorrect information. All disease has a nutritional component. Does everybody understand why that is? All disease has a nutritional component. How can a disease not be affected by what you put in your body? If the only source of energy that you have comes from the food you eat, I just explained chronic fatigue syndrome. Right there, one sentence. Just decimated chronic fatigue, CFS. Some of those diseases that don't exist, I'll just go ahead and give you a precursor. That's one of them. We're going to talk about that one. So if you know anybody with chronic fatigue, get them to come to that class, whatever date that was. I think it was the 11th, March, something like that. It's on the schedule. It's in your folder. So whether you're in daycare facilities, schools, churches, colleges, hospitals, prisons, nursing homes, whatever. Breakfast, you got frozen waffles. Lunch, you got canned spaghetti. Dinner, you got noodles. And, right? Whether it's a school, whether it's a church, whether it's a prison, whether it's a nursery, doesn't matter what it is. People are waking up, though. People are waking up in a big way. So we help people relearn how to eat. We rebuild their organs from the inside out. If you know that somebody's stomach lining takes a certain number of hours, days, or weeks to rebuild, can you say to them, hey, you're going to have a new stomach lining in 2 weeks? If you know that a weight-bearing bone takes 8 weeks to remodel and to heal, can you say, hey, your bone's going to be healed in about 8 weeks? Not because of anything I do, because we know the physiology. Right? I didn't spend a lot of time studying pathology and diseases. I spent a lot of time studying health and how to fix people. Who cares about the disease? Because guess what? No doctor fixes any disease. Get that out of your mind. No doctor fixes any disease. They can cover up symptoms. I can teach you how to eat. We can rebuild your heart and your lungs and your kidneys and your spleen over time with what we do and the knowledge that we have. But no doctor fixes a disease. Your body fixes it. Get it out of your mind that some doctor cured you. He did not. And I won't even accept people saying that I cured them. I won't accept that in a minute. I'll rebuke it right now. It wasn't me. It wasn't me at all. Your body can heal if you stop killing it. How do we know this? People constantly tell us they've never felt better. They no longer have digestive issues. They can sleep. They got pregnant. This was their second pregnancy, and it was pain-free, and their legs didn't swell. Amen. Yeah, right on. Or it was their first pregnancy, and it went off without a hitch, right? We hear that all the time. No more chronic illness. They canceled their surgeries. Their eyes got better. They lost weight. Their medical doctors took them off prescriptions. Notice I didn't say I take you off prescriptions, right? I don't. So here's the big FAQs. So what do I eat? If we get all that out of the way and we know that food is the answer, the big question then is, well, if I'm sick and it's because of what I'm eating, then what else do I eat? You can smile now. Everybody has the same question. Yeah, there we go. She broke. She had to smile. So what do I eat? And why? Well, first let's answer, why is all this confusion in the first place? Because you saw it, end of the year. What do? They come out and say, fish oil causes cancer. Or they come out and they say, supplements are worthless. Or they come out and they say, well, bread's good now, but eggs are toxic. You can't have any more eggs. Or they'll come out and they say, well, fish causes prostate cancer. Throw away your fish supplements and just eat red meat. And then 6 weeks later, they're saying red meat's, no. They're not defining the, y'all know what I'm talking about, right? I'm waiting for the report that says water is going to kill you. Because they need to have one, because it's true. The tap water is killing people. They need to do that. But that would maybe wake people up so that they just go, wait a minute, I don't know whether to believe this crap or not. It's fake news anyway, y'all know that. So the confusion is there for a reason. So how do you cut through it? Think about it. The artificial sweeteners, they said that it was going to fix obesity and diabetes. What did it cause? Cancer and diabetes and obesity, right? The low-fat, no-fat craze they said was going to fix obesity. What did it cause? Infertility. What did it cause? Hormone imbalances. What did it cause? Whole generation of women going on progesterone and estrogen. The low-fat, no-fat thing. We all know where that gets us, right? The whole genetically modified thing. Well, it's safe for humans, but it causes cancer in laboratory animals. I mean, you hear that all day long, right? So the confusion is there for a reason. So so what do I eat? You want me to tell you what do you eat? I'll just make this very, very, very simple. And I know I'm not meaning to say this to make anybody feel stupid or anything, but it's really simple. It's so simple. The truth is always so simple. We complicate it with PhDs and with clinical research journals, and we complicate it with studies, and we complicate it with commercials and media. Here it is. 2 words. What do I eat? Real food. What do I mean by that? If God made it, eat it. If man modified it, stay away from it. What do I mean by that? If it has a commercial on TV, don't buy it. What do I mean by that? If it's white, it ain't right. You had to bleach it to get it that way, right? If it's the white bread, if it's the pastry, what do I mean? Noodles, cakes, candies, pastas. If it's white, if it's bleached white, where does that color occur in nature? Or where does red number 5 or yellow number 30 occur in nature, right? Yes, I'm talking about you skittleheads, and I'm talking about you. Yeah, I see you out there lurking. No, don't. What, the lime green, the purple isn't real? What do you mean? What do you mean radioactive Gatorade is not good? It's bright yellow. What do you mean? So here's a real test. I'll yell out a food. You tell me if it's real or fake. Waffles. Okay. How about pancakes? How about apples? Oh, ooh, I threw a curveball. How about toaster strudels? Toasted cereal? How about Dunkin' Donuts? Wow, they're good. I can't beat them. I can't trick them. See? How about broccolini? I tricked you. Huh? So if you crave sugar, that's because you're not eating enough protein or fat. We talked about that right here. What's the nutritional deficiency? You're not getting enough other stuff. If you come to the next class, we'll be talking about grossiology 101, grocery store, the study of groceries 101. I made that up. It's totally not a real word, grossiology. But we'll talk about what if you're eating too much sugar, then you can't be eating enough protein and fat. There's really only 3 things humans can eat. It's very simple, very, very, very simple. Magic number 3, kind of a profound number, right? So the fix. What is the fix? So what do I eat? Real food. Okay, well, how do I eat real food? No cans, no boxes, no bags. Veggies, mostly plants, okay? Primarily veggies, because people eat way too much fruit, okay? And animals. And I'm not going, I'm not telling anybody they become a vegetarian or a vegan or anything like that. You were designed to eat animals. How do I know? You have enzymes to digest them and you have teeth. Okay? I'm not going to argue with anybody. There's only a few types of people that I can't treat. And one is people who love their drugs and don't want to get better, or people who just don't want to admit the fact that they were designed by their creator to eat animals. I'm sorry. I'm not going to argue with somebody about it. Jesus ate fish. That's the closest I'm going to go. I'm just going to say there are certain parts of animals that your body needs to regenerate. You were pulled from the dust of the earth. There were two other things pulled from the same dust that the Creator made, plants and animals. And He pulled them forth for your health. That's all we have to say about it. So the fix, how do you fix it? Okay, what do I eat? Good stuff, real food. Well, then how? Well, then just replace stuff. Replace the bad stuff with the good stuff. And you will start to notice that you'll eat less, you'll save money, you won't be dropping a bunch of money on Gatorade and Mountain Dew, you'll be putting that into good quality wholesome stuff, and guess what? You won't be hungry between meals. Perfect. You won't be hungry between meals. Who was it that told me, yeah, not eating as much between meals, you're not snacking because you're full. Hardly ever do I do lunch. I do a rock solid breakfast. I do a rock solid dinner. That's it. That's just the way I'm programmed. That's just the way I like to get things done. If I eat lunch in the middle of the day, it bogs me down. Can't handle it. But I like to go, 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 go. So you do quality, quality, quality stuff. Maybe instead of the toasted cereal, you do eggs in the morning. Or maybe instead of the chips and the crazy stuff that you eat at lunch, I don't even know what people eat at lunch because I don't eat lunch. Somebody clue me in here. Maybe you do veggies, dip them in hummus. Yeah, okay, sandwiches, perfect. Instead of sandwiches, just with bread and covered in mayo and mustard and stuff like that, maybe you do salads. Super easy. Can you take it with you? Yep. Can you put it in your work, in your cooler, in your next to your in your lunchbox, next to in your truck, next to your toolbox? Yep. Can you put it in the back of your car when you travel cross country? Yep. Can you take it with you on a plane? Yep. Can you put it in a backpack? Yep. Can you put it in a briefcase? Yep. Super easy stuff. You don't have to be able to cook and put together a bunch of meals. Super easy. The original fast food. Put it in your backpack and run with it. Super easy. Plants and animals, veggies, fruits. Take stuff with you, dip them. Tons of easy, easy, easy ideas. And we're going to get more into that with groceology. And when we have, here in a couple weeks, we'll have a TV mounted right here, and we're going to have slides and all kinds of craziness. I'm going to be showing little video clips of things. It's going to be much more interactive. And there'll be a camera on the TV so that we can take pictures of everybody. Totally kidding. No, we're not. But when we talk about the biggest game changer with one of these things, not only with soups, but protein shakes. Man, it'll change your life, I'm telling you. Every single patient that goes through here, we teach them about protein shakes. If they don't like it, because it's one of three things, temperature, taste, or texture. And they are in control of all three of those things. The same thing that you're making in your kitchen, the fraction of the time and a fraction of the money, you would pay $8 or $10 at Smoothie King or Dunkin' Donuts. And you're making it however you want to make it, however thickness, whatever temperature, whatever stuff. I put 8 or 10 vegetables in my shake in the morning. Yes, 8 or 10. I get more vegetables in one meal than most of you in this room, probably, unless you're a patient here, get in 2 weeks. It's easy, and I can teach you how to do that too. So if you do quality protein shakes, game changer. If nothing else you hear from tonight, quality protein shakes. There are a couple of commercially available ones on the market that I would recommend that aren't bad. What we recommend here, though, and everything we sell here is doctor only. In other words, you have to be a physician and get from these companies. We have 10, 12 vendors, companies that are just professional healthcare professionals only, doctor only. And so some of the everything we do is all natural, heavy duty, plants and animals, homeopathic, naturopathic, herbs, German new medicine, drainage remedies. We use all kinds. We use everything up to stem cells, not the injectable kind, not the dead babies. We use ingestible animals. So it's all about regenerating your body. So we've got a ton of tools in our tool bag. One of the biggest things we teach people, though, is protein shakes in the morning. That will change your life. If nothing else you hear, protein shakes in the morning. Specifically the protein from a couple of different companies that we sell here, but there are 2 or 3 commercially available on the market that won't kill you. The rest of them, stay away. I'm telling you, if you get your protein at Walmart or at Target or at Costco or at GNC, all bets are off. Okay? I'm just telling you from experience. I used to drink that stuff like it was my job. It'll cause problems for you, I promise you. So come to the February 11th event to learn how. We're going to talk more about this. I might even do a demonstration. I don't know. I might get frisky and do a little. I might make shakes right here.
The next one we can.
I might right here. Grossiology.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we might do that. I'm thinking nutritional upgrades. I'm thinking February 11th. Make a note of that. I'm going to get ice. I'm going to be throwing vegetables around here. We might do it in the kitchen. You never know. So then the next question that follows is, what do I stay away from? Well, you stay away from all the stuff we just talked about. Anything canned, bagged, anything that has preservatives, anything with a list of ingredients that, say, a 3rd or 4th grader could not pronounce, you don't need to eat it. Very simple rules, right? If it has more than, you can come up with your own rule. If it has more than 5 or 7 ingredients, stay away from it. It doesn't need anything more than that. Some manufacturers of things are coming out now with like a a limit of 5 ingredients in some of their products, because people are starting to wake up. Thank you. How do I know? Well, because you're all here. How do I know? Because we've got testimonials and we're growing like crazy. And how else do I know? The fact that everyone's into essential oils right now should come as a shock to no one. Why? Because everybody who's into essential oils knows one thing. The toxic chemicals are poisonous. That's all you need to know. Are people waking up? Yeah. How do I know? Because they're getting away from the Tilex and the Windex and the scrub and bubbles, because they know they're starting to have respiratory problems. When you use ammonia and you spray it in tap water that has chloride in it, what'd you just make? Ammonium chloride. What's that called? Mustard gas. Hello. So people are starting to have breathing problems from cleaning their tubs because they're using ammonia and pine sol, right? Did you know that? It's crazy. That's why you're having problems. That's why when you're in the shower and you close the curtain and you go into sneezing fits, how many of you do that? Yeah? You know what I'm talking about? Why? Because there's chemicals in the water, right? And the shower curtain, right? I don't know. I won't get into that. So what do I stay away from? Here's my rules. If it's made by a plant, eat it. If it's made in a plant, stay away from it. Yeah, I like that one. I made it years ago. Now, if you see that somewhere else, written somewhere else, I want to know it. I want to know it, because I'm going to trademark that thing. If it's made by a plant, I'll repeat it. If it's made by a plant, eat it. If it's made in a plant, beat it. Stay away from it. Okay? If you can't pronounce it, I made this one up too. If you can't pronounce it, denounce it. Oh, you like that? If it doesn't rot, eat it not. I made all these up. Serious. I didn't get these anywhere. If it doesn't rot, eat it not. That's all that Shakespeare training from my theater degree right there. If it's white, it ain't right. I already said that one. And if it has its own commercial, turn away. There are 17,000 new products that hit store shelves every year, mostly made of genetically modified corn and soy and preservatives and chemicals that you don't want anything to do with. And they are designed specifically by very smart chemical engineer food scientists hired by Heinz, hired by Kellogg's, hired by Post, hired by General Mills to hook your taste buds. That's why all of the artificial sweeteners, the gums and the cakes and the candies and all of the pops and the candy bars, that's why they are specifically designed to deceive you. You are paying companies to not only deceive you neurologically through your taste buds for 4 inches of heaven and 30 feet of hell, you are paying a company, yes, right? You are paying a company to make you diseased. Think about that. Vote with your dollars, folks. You have to understand these companies that put $1 million advertising campaigns together for the Super Bowl for 30 seconds, do they have your best interest in mind? I don't need to tell you that. Oh, hello. Somebody's walking in. So what about sugar? We'll talk about all that later. People do need to know this, though, that you can survive with 0 sugar. You can survive. Ask the Eskimos, ask the Inuits. They're eating whale blubber 24/7, 365. So you don't have to have sugar to live. When diabetics go into a little diabetic episode, what do we give them? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just a quick little thing. So there's about, I think, like 28 of you in here, and I only have 20, so less than that filled out on the sheet. I just have to have everyone filled out so I can draw names for the winning.
Oh, yeah, yeah. If you did not sign up for the name,
I'll pass it out. Just the green book, the green binder that has
Yeah.
the lowers giveaway in it. Did anybody not fill that out?
if you want to be eligible to win cool stuff, freebies and stuff, make sure you sign up in that book. If you did not sign it, go ahead and sign up right now. You can, the little green binder when you walked in and did your name tag.
Somebody's filling it out. I'll lift it up in just a second.
So yeah, you can all feel free to do that. It won't bug me. Everything good? Are we good? Okay. So sugar, we won't get too much into sugar, but you can survive with very little sugar. If you get your sugar down below about 60 grams, in between 60 and 100, if you can get your sugar down to that, that's great. Here's, but most, well, a can of Coke, I'll just tell you, has about 44 grams of sugar in it. Just one can. And a banana has like, and in between the size of the banana, bananas are really sugary, 30 to 40 grams in a banana. So just to put into perspective, a granola bar or something like candy bar will have 30 to 50 grams, you know. So just to give you an idea as to why this is going crazy in America, most people are eating 200, 300, 400, 500 grams of sugar a day. I'm sick. You get a 64-ounce big gulp of Dr. Pepper, people are pounding it, ripping through it like crazy. This is the book. If you didn't sign up in here and you still want a chance to be able to win stuff, we're going to do the drawing, so you need to sign up. So how do I read labels? Come to the event on January 28th. We'll teach you all about reading labels. It's so confusing. It's very, very, very confusing, but it's very simple to, it's made confusing the way that they write the labels on purpose. But we will teach you to cut through all that and really be able to understand. There's, on the labels though, notice, there are 3 things in bold. Total fat, total carbs, and total protein. 3 things. Those are the only 3 things you can eat. Why? Because that's the only stuff you have digestive enzymes to break down. So those 3 things are bold, capital letters. Then you'll see sodium and cholesterol on there too, because they want to make you afraid. Okay? Don't fall for it. But the protein, the fat, and the carbohydrates, if you just learn that today, and you look at a food label and you go, huh, yeah, they are in the same font and they're bold. Know that. There's only 3 things that you can really digest: carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. And we're going to explain all that later on. How do I read labels? That's the January 28th class. Okay? You shouldn't need a chemistry degree to read the label of the food that you're buying for your kids. So think about that as well. Well, a lot of people will say, well, isn't, one of the big things, one of the big FAQs that we'll have today too, well, isn't organic food so expensive? Well, it can be. Depends on how you look at it. The way I look at it, a CAT scan or an MRI is pretty expensive. Premiums for your health insurance are pretty expensive. So if you think spending, 10 or 15, 20 bucks more on organic a week or a month, or however you break down your family, or however many dollars it is, you got to think about this. Your diet is the cost of living on planet Earth. You have to think of it as an investment. You can't be thinking of it as an expense. You have to think of it as, I have only one chance. We got into this epic mess because a couple people 6,000 years ago ate something they weren't supposed to eat. You got it? How important is that? Epic mess. Epic mess. And we're still paying for it. And how are most people dying? By their own fork, right? How can I replace sugar? Well, my question would be, why would you have to replace sugar? Once we reprogram your taste buds and we get you feeling better, you're never going to want to eat it again. You're going to have a couple sips of Dr. Pepper, and you're going to want to puke because it'll give you a headache. How many of you can attest to that? Current patients? Hands go up all across the room, right? You're going to eat that candy bar, and you're going to want to puke. You're going to say, how did I ever eat that? So it's not about, I'll say it this way. I want that, but I can't have it. Turns into, I can have that, but I don't want it. Over time. Be transformed by the renewing of your, starts right here. Simple. So simple. And people get hooked on 4 inches of heaven, and they don't even think about 30 feet of hell. All those other diseases, the gastroesophageal reflux disease, heartburn, Crohn's, celiac, irritable bowel, all these diseases, diverticulitis, diverticulosis, constipation, diarrhea, polyps. It's all the same disease, just in different locations. That'll save you $100,000 of undergrad right there. That'll save you a doctorate degree right there. All you got to do is realize all these diseases, same place, same problem, same disease metabolism, just different locations of the body. If it's in a bone, we call it this. If it's in skin, we call it this. If it's in your stomach, we call it this. If it's in your lung, we call it this. Same process. Real quick, and then we're done. One of the other, gluten, I don't think that's too important right now to cover. We can cover that in the next class. But people always say, well, how do I convince my family? Is that going through anyone's mind right now? How do I convince my family? Little Johnny won't eat this. I got news for you. Little Johnny will eat that. You just have to be patient and persistent and show him by your own actions. Right? You're telling me that an 8-year-old is in charge of you. An 8-year-old chooses how you shop for your family. A 10-year-old tells you how you're going to cook dinner. I mean, really? I feel sorry for you because I have news for you. You run the family, and here's the deal. You have an obligation, you have a privilege, you have an honor, and you have a duty to raise those kids healthy and educated. And part of it is not letting the TV tell them what's right. Part of it is you explaining to them, hey, this is good for you, this is great, and guess what? If you don't eat it, you might be hungry for a little bit, right? I sometimes wish that would have happened to me when I was growing up, right? Can I get an amen? Oh, it was icy. So, but mac and cheese, peanut butter and jelly, Hot Pockets. I mean, think of the crap we put in kids' faces. And then what's the major thing that kids are experiencing? What's the problem, big problem? Well, besides this, what's the big problem kids are experiencing?
Allergies.
What is it? Allergies is one of them. What's it?
ADD.
Lack of focus. I wonder why they can't focus. They're skitzed out on sugar. They're skitzed out on 400 grams of sugar for the morning, for breakfast, and we want to medicate them. Over half of kids, or what was the statistic? Half of kids are on medications now? Ask your friends who are school teachers if they're school teachers or if they're pharmacists. Go ahead. Ask them, because I've got plenty of friends who are teachers that are shocked by how many drugs they have to administer to kids. TV, media. So the secret, you just got to go slowly. Whether this is a mom influencing a husband or whether this is a parent influencing a kid, you just have to go slowly. Same way that we do with everything that we do here. We have you fill out food logs, we watch, we say, okay, hey, you did great. Okay, Christmas, we're going to fix this. We'll come back. And I'm shocked that Christmas is one day on the calendar, but it turns into 4 months for most people. It's an excuse to behave like a slob and to eat like a hog. It's an excuse. So what I said at the very beginning, I'll tell it to you straight. I'm not here to be popular. I'm here to be effective. So people can pay me to be a good guy and get along. Oh yeah, that's fine. Oh yeah, well, whatever, you're paying me still. So yeah, just keep eating crap food. That's not ethical. I won't do that. I'll tell you, look, I don't need your money that bad. I need you to get healthy. Because I got a whole wall of testimonials out there waiting for you on it. And I would rather have you do what you said you were going to do and have me kicking you in the butt a little bit and holding you accountable me just being namby-pamby white bread walking around on eggshells, I don't want to make anybody mad. Does that make sense? So we hold you accountable. And that's all you need to do at home. So how do you do it? How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Just little tiny stepwise gradient improvements over time. Over big, long time, little changes add up to big progress. So we're done as, how do I fight back? Vote with your dollars. Boom, boom, boom. Here's the quick solution. Is that Facebook?
Yeah.
Hold on one sec. So here's the quick solution. This is the end right here. And then what we'll do is a quick little demonstration. And, well, was that a question?
Yeah.
Let's do the question first. Sorry.
You answered this earlier, but they might have got on late. They just said, and we should have how many grams of sugar? Tammy Peachy?
Oh, I know who that is. Hi, Tammy. How you doing, darling? How many should you have? Well, what we were talking about was you'll lose weight if you get them below 60 grams per day. You'll start losing weight. Yeah. Yeah, but most people, if they get them between 60 and 100, you know, that makes a huge difference. If you cut your carbs, cut your sugar, grams of sugar down from 300 a day to 100 a day, you'll lose weight like that. You will lose weight in a heartbeat. So, nutrition, response. Oh, I talked my marker dry. So, how do we do all this? We're almost done. Cool. So how do we do this? What do we do? Do we just chiropract you into health? Sort of. Nutrition, response. Oh, crappy marker. Testing, designed, clinical, nutrition. I abbreviate everything, sorry. Top one is nutrition, response, testing. Bottom one, designed, clinical, nutrition. Nutrition response testing. That's the method that we use to be able to differentiate what it is that's going on with your body and what kind of whole food nutritional supplements we're going to use to rebuild those organs. We'll get into that in just a minute when Hannah comes back. So here's the take home. The solution: confront the change, confront the personal excuses, and admit and face up to the fact that we've all been duped. Okay? I wasn't always eating organic, free-range, grass-fed, hippy-dippy, homeschooled stuff. I grew up eating, you know, Pop-Tarts, Frosted Flakes, Lucky Charms. Captain Crunch was my jam. You know, I grew up eating all that crap. But then I had allergies. I wondered what was up with my skin. I wondered why, you know, seasonal affective disorder every February. You know, I just thought, oh, I'm so sad. I'm so sad. What's going on? Nobody had any answers. So now that I know what I know now, I'm able to help thousands of people. Number two, pick one thing to avoid and slowly eliminate it. Start with, hey, I'm going to eliminate bad fats. I'm going to get the margarine out of my fridge. Hey, I'm going to cut out the sweeteners. Hey, I'm going to stop the soy. Or hey, like Tammy Peachy just said, I'm going to start limiting my sugar. I'm going to pay attention to the grams of sugar I'm putting in my face. Look at your soda cans and also look at the servings. If it says there's 8 grams of sugar in that candy bar, but there's 4 servings, that's 32 grams. That's what they don't tell you on the labels, see? That's what I mean. It's deceptive and it's meant to be. It's like the tax code. They don't want you to get it. Number 3, practice patience and persistence, not perfection. Do not think you're going to be perfect. This is not a sprint. It's a marathon. You're going to screw up. And you know what? We'll get you to the point where you're healthy, where you don't screw up anymore. We'll get you to the point where you're healthy, where you can have a piece of cake and not feel like you're going to die. You can have and enjoy some chocolate. Not all things that are good for you taste like crap. They can be good. We just have to train you and recapture your taste buds. We have to launch behind enemy lines, go behind the bunkers, grab your taste buds, and rescue those POWs and pull them back across the border. That's what we do. How do you like that analogy? Like that? Number 4, don't let lack of planning force you into bad decisions. Plan ahead, Rhonda.
That's it.
Yep. Amen.
Have to plan it.
That's right. Plan ahead. What does that mean? Cook your stuff ahead of time. Freeze it. Stick it in the freezer. Do your shake the night before, you know, and put it in the fridge. So all you have to do is pull it out and blend the thing and pound it. Think it. Get creative. Ziploc baggie it.
Bad eating is just convenience.
It is convenience. And convenience is just what?
Bad planning.
A lack of planning. Correct. Convenience is there's an alternate definition for convenience, and it's due to lack of work ethic or due to increased laziness. You know, and I'm not picking on you. I'm just saying we all live conveniently.
Busyness.
Well, yeah, and
Busyness.
or increased busyness versus increased effectiveness. And we're all busy, and we always, oh, how you doing? Oh, busy. But the thing is, are you being effective? Anybody can be busy. Not everybody can be effective. So with our food, and I fell into the same trap. I'm guilty just like everybody else. You'll fall into, if you don't plan ahead of time, you will be forced to make bad decisions. You'll get angry, you'll get hangry, you'll get hungry, and you'll pull through Chick-fil-A and you'll go, well, they're Christian chickens. They're okay. You know, they're Christian chickens. Jeez, we got work to do with you. They are. You hear? They are. Oh, Lord. Christian chickens. Okay, we got to hurry. Don't let lack of planning force you into bad decisions. Plan ahead. Okay? If you got kids, you know what that means. Number 5, tailor your family's education to their age and their understanding, and you will see gradual changes. That means if their kid just go, oh, I get to answer that. I get to answer. Hello. No, I'm just kidding. Tailor your family's education to their age and to their understanding. You will become a patient here, and you will see documentaries. You will read books as part of your care plan. Yes. You will fill out a food log. You will have handouts, which we're upgrading constantly very soon. We will do another version of the handouts. And you'll learn all kinds of information. You will be around other people. You'll be coming to classes, learning all this stuff. You'll get it. You'll start to understand it. And then, see, we teach you how to fish instead of just giving you a fish sandwich. That's how ethical this is. Number 6, have us hold you accountable with food logs, all the training that we just mentioned, the documentaries, books. 7, discern which companies are worthy of your hard-earned money and whether they're part of the solution or part of the problem. So, that being said, last part, did we answer the question?
Yeah.
For Tammy? No, nothing else
No,
from her?
she said 60 to 100. Thanks. I couldn't remember what he said. And hello.
That is right. Hello. That is right. So below 60, that's the sweet spot. That's the sweet spot. So nutrition response testing and design clinical nutrition. We're going to do a little demonstration here with Hannah here in just a split second. You have the stuff. Yeah. Your body, when you go through hypothermia is not your body's, not an enemy to your body. Your body's actually trying to save itself. So it shuts off blood flow to your arms and legs. It shuts off blood flow to your toes and your fingers and gets all the blood. It puts all of the energy, not to throw out new age terminology or anything, but your blood carries energy, right? So it throws all the energy into your internal organs to keep you alive. Your kidneys, your liver, your heart, your brain. So it says, we don't care about the arms and legs. We don't care about the toes and fingers. We can live without toes and fingers. We can't live without heart and kidneys. So your body, in its innate, beautiful creation, and your body's innate ability to keep you alive, it goes through something like in hypothermia, when you fall in a lake, it goes through that process to keep you alive, not because it hates your fingers or your toes. The way that we do this nutrition response testing, it's the same thing. And we do this knowing that there's a lot of people in here to review so that some current patients kind of go, oh, I finally get it now. And we do it to show you how simple it is. So here, Hannah, come forward this way. All we're doing is testing your, I got to lay these down here. Will you be my lovely assistant? Yes. Fabulous. Where's your other hand? I'm just kidding. So all we're doing is testing reflexes. It's so simple. When you go and you get an MRI or a CAT scan or an X-ray done, what is it measuring? The energy within your body. You test your electroencephalogram, electrocardiogram, it's measuring the energy of your brain, measuring the energy of your heart. Here what we're doing is I'm checking the energy of your muscles connected to your nerves, which are also connected to your organs, and the innate inborn ability of your body to give us information. If I press on her left lung here, that hypothermia example I just threw at you is going to say, wait, the lung is more important than a strong arm. And the body is going to judge and say, that arm is no longer important. Does that make sense? It's going to judge between what's more important. It's going to judge between whether, and all the physiology and everything I could explain for people later on, but just quick and dirty version of it is, if there's a problem with an organ here, I've got a good solid response here, there's a problem with an organ, it's going to tell me. Does that make sense? Lightning speed. Your organs are connected to your muscles via nerves, and your brain and your nervous system runs it all. Okay, this is how lie detectors work. It's exactly how lie detectors work, and I can show you all later on. But for a lot of people, they're already familiar with this. They've been to other doctors. They've been to orthopedic surgeons. Do the same thing. Hold your arms out like this. Don't let me push down. Hold your arms out like this. Don't let me push down. Put them like this. Don't let me push down. Don't let me pull up. Squeeze my fingers as hard as you can. They're testing your reflexes, testing your muscle strength. So here, we're going to test something that, hold your hand out and close your eyes. We're going to just see which ones of these. Oh, wait. Everybody know what that is? And go ahead and hold that up. Hold that up for people. Here. Yeah. Okay. Not bad. Everybody saw that? Everybody know what this is? Everybody knows what that is, yes? That was a no. Okay. Ooh, there it was. Okay, so that was kind of halfway. Okay, now, yeah, can you see all that? Everybody knows what the red and yellow are, right? You've seen those on every restaurant table. Okay. We'll come back to that. Horrible. Horrible. Okay, good. What we've got here is a supplement. What we've got here is, this is a stevia sugar. This is a sugar. And these were 2 artificial sweeteners. Okay? Her body can tell the difference between that the same way that she can feel light, heat, warmth, and cold. Her body can tell the difference in energy between what God made and what man created in a laboratory, because your body's that smart. You don't feel it, just like you don't hear it or you don't see it, but your body is sensing it constantly. You've all heard about people freezing, talking to water. I bless you, I bless you, I bless you, I bless you. You freeze it. Perfect structures come out. Same water. I curse you, I curse you, I hate you, can't stand you, you're worthless. You freeze it. What do you get? Amorphous, nebulous looking, not even crystallized substances, right? It's the energy that is contained in that water, right? What's her body made of? 85%, right? So that's how this works. So you can have a seat. Thank you. That's how this works. That's the quick and dirty, easy version of how this works, because people just need to understand. It's not voodoo. If it was voodoo, I wouldn't be doing it. And if there was a better method, if there was a better, easier, quicker, more efficient, more cost-effective, laser-focused, missile-guided way to do this, I'd be doing it. So there's about 700, 800 of us in the United States or whatever that do this method, and it's rock solid. The reason why is your body sends all the energy to organs. That's nutrition response. So we're looking for a positive response or a negative response. It's called nutrition response testing. We're actually testing the response. So we do that for older patients, experienced patients, to really understand how that works, and we do it for newer patients to totally understand it too. It's the same way you test any other reflex. If I kick you right here in the leg, your knee, your patellar tendon is going to jerk. It's something you can't control. We did it with her eyes closed so she wasn't influenced, but normally you would do it laying down on your back. You can do it standing up, seated, whatever. You can do it however the problem occurs. If somebody comes to me and says, I'm dizzy when I'm standing, I'm going to test them standing. It doesn't happen when you sit down? No, I'm okay when I sit down. Okay, stand up. Let's test you. Let's check you out. Anyway, it's no magic recipe. What we do here, there's no protocol nutrition. There's no protocol. Oh, you have fibromyalgia? Well, here, take 2 grams of fish oil, take 100 milligrams of, B complex, and boom, boom, boom. Your fibromyalgia is not the same as your neighbor's or your sister's or even your mom's fibromyalgia. Fibromyalgia is different with every single person. That's why the drugs don't work. They'll work to suppress some symptoms. There's no one-size-fits-all protocol specifically designed for each person, designed clinical nutrition. It's kind of similar. The analogy I like to use is we're going to make black suits for everybody. They're going to be black tuxes, but your inseam is going to be a little different. The length of your sleeve is going to be a little different. Your neck size is going to be a little different. They're going to look exact, but they're going to be a little bit changed. They're going to be a little specifically tailored to you. Overall health, we're safe and natural. This is the third thing I want to mention about all this, and then we're done. And start thinking of questions because we're shutting down. Overall health, Safe and natural. Honey, we got everybody from newborn babies. Right, Andrew?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's right. Newborn babies to 86-year-old grandmas to breastfeeding moms. You can have interactions or contraindications with this, and you cannot overdose. It's food. It's food. It's food. You can't mess people up. We're not treating symptoms. We're restoring overall health. 7 sacred tools that we use here. I like to call it light, water, heat, electricity, my hands, plants, and animals. 7 things God made, and you can't mess with them. Light, water, heat, electricity, and then food, plants, and animals. It's not quick. It could take several months. This is not a give you a bunch of supplements and I'll see you in 2 months. I'm not going to write you a prescription and say, well, I'll see you in 3 months. We'll see how it's doing. If that's not working, we'll do another one. No, I see you for a short couple of months, depending on how long you've been sick, depending on how many organs you're missing or how many drugs you're on. It could be for quite some time. But if somebody comes in here and they have big problems, I tell them, give me 9 months to 2 years. If you're not on board with that, then you might want to look elsewhere. But for most people, they're not at that level of disease. They're not at that level. They have to understand that they are at a point where they need help. And they have to understand, too, that once they get out of having those symptoms, they're not out of the woods quite yet. They have to understand, why would I want to eat healthy? They have to understand, why would I want to not be on drugs? Why would I want to not live under the shadow of cancer falling out of the sky and just hitting me randomly like every other person I've heard of? They have to understand, why would I want to do all this? Why would I want to eat healthy? Why would I want to invest in my health? They have to understand that. We're very good at helping people understand that. Whole food supplements, primarily, that's what we use. No side effects or interactions, we covered that. So the screening demonstration I just showed you, did anybody have any questions on that? Because if you are interested and you want to get a tour of the facility, you want to see everything we're doing here from infrared saunas and ionic detoxification, foot spa units to cold laser, you want to understand kind of more about the supplements, we can do a tour. And then if you're interested, I can test you and see if you're a candidate for care. And then if you are, you can talk to Sarah and get all scheduled and signed up and pull the trigger. You're here today because somebody told you about us. You're here today to make a decision. And so we do these classes as a free kind of public service announcement so people understand this is what we do, this is what we're into. If you need our help, great. If you don't, great. Tell somebody about us. Okay? So we're going to pass out. Hannah, we got the surveys?
Yes.
Yes, we're going to pass out surveys. And then if you'd like to do a screening demonstration, we're going to break for a couple of minutes. Y'all can go to the bathroom. And then if you want to stick around, do a quick tour. We're done in minutes. So let me make sure I covered everything here. Sarah's at the front desk. This is Hannah, by the way. Sarah's at the front desk. Y'all saw her. We'll do the screenings. And if you want to fill out the survey, please, everybody, patient or non-patient, fill out the survey because we're changing up a lot of stuff 2019. We're doing new website, new logo, new marketing agency. We're going to turn up the heat on Cleveland, Tennessee. So please fill out everything and tell us the major thing you learned, any input, you hated my jokes, I don't care, I look funny, anything. Oh, yeah. Oh, and here we've got some,
Fun part.
the fun part, the freebies. Ooh.
And if anybody needs a pen, please just raise your hand. Let me know. I've got a whole box.
Oh, yeah. Any questions before I hand out freebies and while y'all are filling this stuff out?
I've got 3. I can get a couple more.
Here, you guys can fill them out. Yeah. There you go. Questions, comments, concerns, questions? Yeah, you. I see you. This whole crew right here. This whole crew right here. I can tell. Okay, so I'm gonna pick on you. Tell me one thing you learned.
The grams of sugar thing was big because I actually, okay, I'll get a microphone.
Oh yeah. Oh geez, now she's really gonna tell.
I feel so important. No, the grams of sugar thing was really big because I actually already do the autoimmune protocol diet. I've been doing it for about a year. And it's helped with some things, not with others. And I know I probably get too many grams of sugar just through fruits primarily and things, but yeah, finding that balance of carbs is weird, mentally and physically.
Weird.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Anybody else? Any current patient that wants to? Thank you, darling. Oh, you got a question, sir?
Not a question, a request. Oh, would you do some of us a favor and write your name on the board? I have a hard time.
Oh, yeah, yeah. My name written on the board. It is, yeah, it's going to the audio there.
I don't know what that's got to do with health, but it has to do.
My name, so you can write the check. That's what it is. Yeah, sorry. Oh, good grief. My kingdom for an expo marker. Questions? Current patient? Anybody? Testimonial? Rhonda, tell the world what you've experienced so far. Oh yeah, you do. You're good at it. You're so good at it. And turn around that way.
Well, what I've been thinking the whole time as the self-proclaimed carb queen, I guess, starting my day with, Lucky Charms and all the bad stuff, the Lucky Charms and the Pop-Tarts, and then it's just all day long, and it just seems so overwhelming. And I love sweets, and I love candy and cake and icing and just all of it. I love it all. But one thing he said in the very beginning, and it stuck with me and made a difference, and it made it seem doable, is he said, "Can you change your breakfast? Can you do that? Start there," because that was a bad way. I was starting my day bad. He said, "If you can do that, you've already changed a third of your diet and improved it." And I was like, that makes so much sense. I could do that. That's where I'll start. And so he talked about the smoothies. And so, of course, I gagged when he talked about just talking about them, just talking. They taste really good. They taste good, and they've got all this cool stuff in them, the kale and the spinach and the Brussels sprouts, and you don't taste any of that, and they're just very good. And so that's how I got started, and it's just step by step like that, but a good place to start.
Awesome. Wow, that was great. That was great. Was that not great? Yes. Don't like talking. Okay. Who else? So that was a current patient. Anybody else? Anybody else dying to say something? Any other questions? While we're filling out those, please fill out the surveys so that we want to know. We want to know what we can do better. If you couldn't hear me, if I didn't speak clearly. Future topics, things that you want to know about, people that you should bring. The next class is in 2 weeks on the 28th. It's free, public service announcement, and I think for the most part we're all set. So we are going to sign off. Please like this, share it. Everybody out there watching, thank you. Give it a thumbs up, send this around, tell people about us. And this is Dr. Brett Spradlin, Divine Design Natural Health, and we will see you in 2 weeks, January 28th.